Okay, I'm going to go over how to make a handle for your desktop organizer. The thing is, you can only attach it using the part itself and not use glue. So you can't glue it to it because remember, you're going to use your 3D printed part to see if it fit, see how it fits on your prototype, and then you're going to actually put it in your final project so that we don't have to 3D print it again. These are the steps that you need to follow. So if you were making a handle, for example, I'm going to make a handle. You can make any part this way, uh, but if you want it to stay attached to this part, I'm going to show you how to do it right now. So I'm going to create a sketch on this surface. I'm going to go ahead and hide this part right here, hide the top, and I'm going to hide the back so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to hide the back, hide back. All right. So my sketch is on this surface. I'm going to go ahead and use this hole as a part to create a sketch for a part. And so there's that hole. And call this the nub. It's the nub of my handle nub. All right. So once I have my handle nub made, I'm going to go ahead and sketch made. I'm going to go ahead and extrude that part. Extrude the handle nub. I'm going to go the opposite direction, and I'm going to go twice the thickness of my material. So I'm going to say 2 times 0.125. Okay. So once I've done that, it's going to be new. And I can see now that I have a little nub that sticks out. Okay, you can go a little further than that if you'd like. So let's go ahead and go back to the extrusion. I'm gonna make it 3 times 0.125. So I have a little more substantial nub to it. I'm gonna go ahead and add a chamfer. It makes it easier to insert the part into the little cap that we're gonna make. So we're gonna add a chamfer there. And you could add the chamfer later, or you can add the chamfer now. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do the chamfer later. So then now I'm gonna create a new sketch on this surface. And I'm going to do an offset from the edge of this circle. And I don't want it to be offset too much, just anything greater than what the original circle was made. So the offset I'm going to do is 0.125. And now I'm going to extrude that, sketch 8. I'm going to go out, and this is more aesthetic. Let's go 0.25 now. And I'm going to add that part to this little nub that I made. I want to add it to the nub, or part 14. Okay. So now we have these two parts together. And then the final thing I'm going to do is going to create a handle face. And your handle face can be any shape. It doesn't matter which shape you make. It could be a blob. It could be a heavy face. It could be a diamond. It can be any shape you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a sketch on that surface. Go normal to that surface. I'm going to draw this crazy shape with my spline tool, just to show you it could be any shape you want, as long as it encompasses the. Let's do it again. As long as the original circle that you have is in the inside of it. Boom. All right, there's a little blob. I have a blob shape. I'm going to go ahead and extrude that blob shape. And I don't want it to be that thick. I can just say 0.125. And so now I have a little handle that sticks out. That's the shape of a blob. Any shape you want. You can do a circle, rectangle, triangle, diamond, doesn't really matter. All right, so now this part goes into the front face of this drawer, but it won't stay on without glue. So I need to put a cap on the backside that makes it stay on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sketch on this backside. So we're going to do a new sketch on this backside. And I'm going to create an offset circle. And do not put it on the little nub that you have. Put it on this actual backside of your drawer or wherever you're going to be putting this 3D printed part. And I'm going to do another offset. Actually, that wasn't an offset. I'm going to use this tool to do another offset. I'm going to go 0.125. And now I'm going to extrude this part. I'm going to extrude this part, the sketch. I want to go twice twice the thickness of this that's out here, or at least 3 times, 0.75 and 0.5. Can go even further, 0.25. It's kind of thin. We'll go 0.5. All right. So now I kind of have like a cap made. It's a different part. See how this is gray and that's blue? But if I hide this part, so let's hide the front of the drawer. And so we have our handle. So we'll rename this handle. And we'll rename this cap. Handle cap. Okay, so if I hide the handle, you notice that the cap is still solid. So I need to do something called a Boolean remove. I need to do a Boolean feature. So I'm going to go Boolean. And the tool that I'm going to use is going to be the handle. And I want it to be subtract. The target that I'm going to use is going to be this cap. I want to keep the tools. And so once I finish that, you'll see that now the cap has an indentation in it that's the exact same size as our handle, which will give us a nice tight fix. All right. So now I want to go ahead and make it so that it's easier to put the handle into the cap. So I'm going to hide the handle cap. I'm going to add a small chamfer around this edge. And it could be 0.075, just a small chamfer, so that it's easier to insert this part into the cap. Okay, you don't want to overdo the chamfer because you still want a nice tight friction fit. All right, so now to export these parts, I'm going to go over to each part. I'm going to right click on it and click on export. And I want it to be as an STL. And then I'm going to right click on the cap. I'm going to export. And I want it to be as an STL. So now I have two separate part files that I'm going to submit to the classroom. Now, when you have what I want to see, however, is I need to see an assembly of this. Okay, so what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to put this into a drawing page so that I can see an assembly of your parts and how they fit together. So you're going to submit the STL files and the assembly.